Hey guys, we are
The Bread Guys. And do you have what it takes to become a ghost?
Now that the trials are over,
We've weeded out the weak.
those of you who remain,
Welcome to the Ghost. Ghost Recon Wildlands has finally been released, and now you have all 21 provinces open for you to traverse.
giving us a map size a total of 3 times the size of GTA 5.
And how do you conquer a map this size? By utilizing your skills and weapons, of course, with access to 5 skill trees: weapon, item, drone, physical, and squad.
And make sure you equip the right weapon. Play to your strengths and form a squad with up to 3 other players to take on the cartel.
But don't forget about your rebel allies out there in the wildlands, because if you get in a tight spot, they can really help you out.
But they're not the only forces out in the wildlands, there is also the Unidad.
They may be in conflict with the Santa Blanca cartel, but you are their #1 enemy.
So here we are, we're rating Ghost Recon Wildlands. And we're going to go back and do our rating system the way we did it a couple videos back. We know that last video, you didn't get a whole lot of it because we were rushed on time. So we are going to hit our major points, and then we're going to hit those subcategories, each one of us telling what we got. And we're only going to bring up our disputes if there's a major difference on the subcategories. And then we'll both give our totals for each category, and then finally both give our totals for the final total, giving it a final score. Okay, so I'm going to start it off with graphics.
Okay.
So there's the category. We start off with the subcategory character models. I personally gave that a 13. And then the next one is the terrain detail, and I also gave that one a 13. Our third subcategory is objects. I gave that a 13. The fourth category is effects. I also gave that one a 13. Lots of 13s in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the final one in that one is the LOD models, which for those of you who may not know, that is how the amount of models they have to load at certain distances. So if you have good LOD models, you'll have none of those pop-ups. And I know a lot of us hate that. You know, you're walking and all of a sudden planes are popping up out of the ground. Yeah. So that's
Wow, the growth system.
right. So it determines, how far away it'll show and everything like that. And I gave that a 14. I think it did really well there. And that gave my total for graphics a 13.2.
And mine came out to a 13.2 as well. That leads us into the audio. First category in the audio is voices. I gave the voices a 12. Then we've got the environmental sounds. So these are going to be kind of like the sounds that you're going to hear out there in the wooded areas and stuff like that. So kind of more of the nature sounds and things like that, so to make you feel like you're in the environment. I gave that one a 13 as well.
I'm actually going to pop in on this one, and it's not a major difference, but I gave it a 15. So I want to point out that I played it with headphones all the time, and without chat. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And myself, I really liked them. I felt I heard a lot of wildlife and stuff like that, but I can understand where it wasn't nearly outstanding either. So I wanted to throw that in there.
Okay. Next one's going to be sound effects. So sound effects is going to be like your swords clashing or like the sound of the guns firing. Does it actually sound like a gun firing? You know what I mean? Does it sound like when you shoot it and you hit something? Does it sound like it hit a rock wall? Or, does it just sound like you just hit a piece of metal and it just bounced off? Does the sound correspond with what happened? That one I gave it a 13. The in-game music, I also gave a 13. That leaves my total for the category of audio as a 12.8.
Mine is actually a 13.5.
Ooh, a little bit higher.
Yeah, a little bit higher. So that leads us into our third category, which is gameplay, which covers a lot, but we'll start with the open world. I felt like it was a huge open world and
Yes.
gave it a 15.
Mine as well was a 15 because it feels truly open world. I mean, you can go anywhere straight from the beginning. You're not confined to doing certain missions before you can go to certain areas.
Absolutely. So our second subcategory is combat. I gave that a 15. I just feel like there was a lot of options in the combat, ways you can take them down, as well as just how you go about it.
Yes, I gave it a 15 as well because staying within the restrictions of how an actual firefight would take place, you have the freedom to do the fight how you want to do it, whether it's stealth, whether it's in with a bang, just plowing through the front door with a tank or whatever else, you have that freedom so you can take it down within the restraints of how an actual operation would work, how you want.
Absolutely. And another, I just wanted to point this out, in the combat, it works so smoothly, like making a plan with a team of 4 players and executing that plan. It works so smoothly.
Yes.
And so that's part of where I wanted to give that high score to. Our third subcategory is the movement. I actually gave that a 13. The fourth one is how well customization improves the gameplay, and I gave that a 14. The final one being button mapping, I gave it a 13. I thought it was good, the base button mapping, but it doesn't allow you to really, that I could tell, change a whole lot.
No, not really.
So we got 2 subcategories as well in gameplay, but both of these I will list off, but we determined that they were non-applicable to this game. One being how well Quest adds new gameplay features. They're not really built for that, so we didn't really think it was applicable. The last one being features, which is how much you do out in the world, but the whole central focus of this game is not so much doing things in the world as finding things out there, which brought my gameplay total to a 14.
Mine as well was actually 14.
Fancy that.
Yeah. Next one's going to be immersion. Starting off, we've got the story. I gave the story a 13. Then we've got the world population. World population is going to be more of how well have they populated it with items, objects, and people. I feel like they did a really good job with this game. I feel like there was not too many people for Bolivia style, but I felt like there wasn't not enough people. I felt like there was plenty of people to interact with, and there was different types of people, and even the objects in the world. It just looked very well populated, so I gave that one a 14. Then we've got the dialogue. The dialogue, I actually gave that one a 12. How well do cutscenes improve the game? I thought they did a really good job with the cutscenes. That's where I feel like most of my story from, so I gave that a 14. Then we have your choices, so more of what kind of choices can you make in the game. You have a lot of that freedom in there. That's going to be 12 for me. Then we've actually got the freedom part of it, which is where can you do basically anything you want. And inside of this game, I feel like that's pretty high up there, that yeah, you have the freedom to take down whoever you want, whenever you want. So I gave the freedom a 14. And that brings my total immersion score to a 13.2.
And mine came out to be a 12.5. Alright, so that leads us to our 5th category, being the overall customization. So we have 4 subcategories in this one. The first one starting off with character options. I actually gave that 11. I felt like there's a lot of options available to you, but they're limited to what is on the list. It's all done list-based.
Yeah, so there's not like any slider bars. You can't like get in there and fine-tune things very well.
Absolutely.
So I get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. The second one being equipable items. There's definitely a lot of those.
There is.
I gave that a 14. The third one being item options. I felt like there was a lot. I don't know. I can't really place my hand on it. I gave it a 13 overall score. I know you had some thoughts on that.
Yes, mine came out to a 15. Why I gave it a perfect score is because I feel like for the items that do allow you to change different aspects of it. So there's some guns that are keen to particular leaders. So when you take them down, you get their gun. So it's their gun. You don't mod their gun. You get their style gun. But the ones that you can, adjust and change parts of, you can almost change everything. You can change the barrel, you can change the trigger, you can change the stock, the scope, the underbarrel. I mean, you can go kind of in depth. And it's not like you go in there and you go, oh, I've got 3 different types of scopes. You generally get like 5 or 6. So, I mean, you could really go in there on all of these different guns that they have, which there was 62 back in the open beta. There's quite a few in the release of the game. That's a lot of different guns to be changing parts on.
Oh, absolutely. Part of my thing on it is just simply the fact that some of the scopes and items that you find out in the world apply to a certain type of gun, not each individual gun. So you're not necessarily finding an item for each gun. You'll find one item and you can equip it to several guns. So that brings us to our final subcategory, which is the custom settings options, which we determined was not applicable to this game. Which brought my total customization score to 12.6.
And see, mine actually went to a 14. After that, we've got our performance. So our performance doesn't have any subcategories. It's just one overall category, and basically it's how well does the game run? You know what I mean? And that kind of does play into the LOD models as well, to where if you have a lot of that pop-ups and stuff like that, the performance isn't really there. You know what I mean? They didn't do a good job building it for that platform.
Yeah.
And considering that I don't see any pop-ups in this game.
This also applies to like frame rate drops and that type of thing, which I didn't see any of either.
So it comes down to just the overall performance of the game, you know what I mean? And so far, it's ran smoothly for me. I haven't had any issues. I don't believe it was perfect, but I do believe it ran very well, and that's why I gave it a 14.
Same thing I gave it.
Oh, 214.
14.
All right.
So that brought my total for the entire thing to a 13.3.
And my total was a 13.5. So if we add those together and do the average, that's going to be a 13.4. So we're going to give Ghost Recon Wildlands a 13.4. Also, on another note, what did you guys think about the differences that we made in this video? As you can tell, we are standing up. We're no longer in our seats. We tried to change up the facts portion a little bit. Instead of doing kind of that slower, one person talking at a time, we tried to do a little bit of a play back and forth. I don't think we went too in depth on necessarily, subjects or anything like that, but that's not something we're going to exclude.
Yeah, we did that on the first impressions. That's why we didn't have as much on this one. So it's not something we're getting rid of. It's just something we figured, hey, we've got a shorter segment. Let's try it out and see what you guys think.
Exactly.
So definitely leave a comment or just let us know.
Yeah.
You can let us know at Twitter if you want.
Yeah, just let us know what you thought. Do you like these changes, or do you want us to kind of go back to the old way?
And since I mentioned it, make sure and check out our Twitter at the Bread Guys, which it'll be right above our heads.
Above our heads.
So the usual place. We're not going to change that up on you.
No.
If you like what you see, go ahead and leave a like. Maybe subscribe. And if you want to see our new videos and you're not sure exactly when we're going to put them out, we'll usually try and let you know, but there's a notification button underneath our videos, and it will send you an alert on your phone if you've got it set up on there, or whatever you want. That way you know when our videos are uploaded.
And also, with the Twitter, as long as you're following us on Twitter, it will always post a link to any new videos. So as soon as the video is published, it immediately posts on our Bread Guys Twitter, and then even leaves a link, so you can actually go straight to our Twitter, open up, and go straight to the video from there. So, it's almost another way to have a notification. So,
absolutely. So, we'll see you guys in the next video.
All right.